Good morning. It is May the 3rd, 2020, and we got a lot going on during the month of May. We are heading into a period over the next few months of 5 planets going retrograde. April the 25th, a week ago, we had Pluto start off the retrogrades. And Pluto going retrograde, of course, is making us go back to reflect on that monumental event of January 12th that we talked about so often, where Pluto and Saturn met up. Now when Pluto shifts direction, we have a chance to reflect upon Pluto's profound transformational effect on our own personal life. So globally, we've all been affected by this Pluto-Saturn event, which we predicted a year ago. But secondly, we are individually affected according to our own personal astrology charts by this Pluto retrograde. So wherever Pluto is backing up in your chart is where it is profoundly affecting your life. And if you'd like a personal reading, my name's Eliza DeVries, and I'd be happy to look at your chart and explain to you exactly how each and every one of these retrogrades is going to personally affect you. We're going to start off with Pluto going already having gone retrograde. We are going to deal with Saturn going retrograde from its position of having moved into Aquarius. It's going to back up now back into Capricorn over the next few months. So on the 11th of May, Saturn goes retrograde. 2 days later, Venus in Gemini backs up and goes retrograde. So this is a real retrograde period. Let me just see this here. Then on the 14th of May, Jupiter in Capricorn goes retrograde. Jupiter right now is up there in the highest degrees of Capricorn, so it's going to back up and touch Pluto once more. So we saw when Jupiter went over Pluto that expansion of the coronavirus. We saw, like we thought, because Pluto often makes things larger than what they initially are. So now we're going to see that we have a time to reflect on that, perhaps to get in touch with ourselves spiritually and to consider how to best restart, re-kick off our lives. Neptune will be going retrograde after the summer solstice, and also at that time in June, Mercury will be going retrograde. So you can see we're heading into a period where we went fast forward, bang, all these events, everything, kind of landing on us. And we went from there to a place of, let's sit back and take a breath and really consider what the heck we've just gone through and how are we going to come out of that situation. So that's what the next few months are going to be about. And that's going to be very, very powerful for all of us. So I wanted to choose a card looking at the month of May, and I also wanted to talk about the fact that early morning on the 7th of May, we have the biggest full moon of the year. It's called the Wesak or Budic full moon in Scorpio. So you're going to have Taurus, which is already a powerful, strong energy of the earth, opposing the triple fire water sign of a moon in Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio does not sit well in Scorpio. It brings up and agitates a lot of stuff within. And for all the fixed signs, whether you're a Leo, a Taurus, a Scorpio, or an Aquarius, all of you will be most profoundly affected by the full moon. Full moon will be at 17 degrees 20 minutes in Taurus and Scorpio. And of course, the understanding of full moon is a sun sitting in exact opposition to the moon. So we're going to have a feeling of excavation once more, as if we haven't felt that enough. I would advise that you really draw out a list on the 6th and celebrate it the night of the 6th, because that will still be rising to the full moon the night of the 6th, so you're inclined to get a more powerful expression of it than if you wait to the following day when it's already starting to wane and go back towards the new moon. So you want to do your intentions and your rituals and your prayers with the full moon rising. The main card to represent, I feel, this full moon will be related to courage, rebirth, release. Time to let those old stories go. If ever there's time to release and start over, it's when you have the full moon in Scorpio once a year. And also because Scorpio in the with the moon energy, which is very emotional, is going through some of its abandonment issues or isolation issues or loss issues or money issues or heartbreak issues, trust issues. People often born with the natal moon in Scorpio, they find that the moon having related to our past lives, the moon in Scorpio, we've had some very scorpionic past lives and lives where we've actually had to go through a lot of survival issues. So we may be looking at our survival issues, all of us globally, during this full moon and coming out back into society, because I do feel it's a rebirth time. So I do feel that after the 7th, you'll see more and more people emerging from their individual pods and considering how to integrate back into society and get their own individual lives going again and their community going again. So what would a card be for the entire month of April globally? A soul card, please. So this is the card of somebody. We're still on an inward path in May. We're still more inward than outward. This person is going into the center of their being. They're listening from within. They're getting new intentions. They're getting new inspirations. They're getting new advice from within. I would really advise you on that full moon. In fact, I'd be happy to do a Zoom full moon gathering if you want, where we get together and we put out into the universe what we want to let go of and what we wish to embrace in our new life. So it's not just letting go, it's a sense of, this is you receiving your messages with your eyes closed. So this is having a Scorpio full moon is about, what do you want to say to me inside at a gut level? What truth, what raw truth do I need to confront right now? What do I need to release? And what is my rebirth going to be all about? So that is the month of May, is receiving the new inspiration, the new electrical, futuristic messages of what your life is now going to be. And I do feel that people start slowly coming out of the cave over the next, after the 7th. What will the first week of May be like? Again, as we said, this is pondering and thinking deep into the most profound roots of our being. What is in there that was in my past that I need to now clean that out? If you see, he's sitting on the stump. The tree has been cut down and he's meditating on the stump. So there may be things he needs to sever and cut and leave behind. So, think of the forest. The forest is about birth and death. All the time in a forest, there's a tree that's fallen, new little trees sprouting up beside it, new little plants coming up all the time, others dying. It's a constant state of birth and re-death and death in the forest. So to me, this is the first week is a contemplation of what I need to cut myself free from in my thought forms so that I can be in my heart and experience life anew, but life in a new way anew. So that's the first week. The second week of May, what is it? So second week of May is taking us to, let's go to the 8th to the 15th of May. Second week of May, what's happening globally? He's battle scarred. He's got a, how do I describe it? He has a scar on his forehead, but hands are joining together. He's holding the world. We're saying, yes, world, we are in this together. We care about what's happening over there in Africa. We care what's happening in Russia. We care what's happening in Germany or Italy or London or Australia or Arkansas or Georgia or California. We care. This is no longer that I'm this state or I'm this country and you're that country. It's a universal feeling of how we can all help each other to get back on our feet. I love this card. The old saying, many hands make light work. So we're starting to think communally, just as we have been embracing and applauding the communities that have kept us going. My friend in New York that called me yesterday for a reading said every night they're out at 7 o'clock or 6:30 hitting on pots and pans with their spoons to applaud all the workers in New York, not just the doctors and nurses who have done a magnificent job, but the people cleaning up in the hospitals, the mortuaries, the people that have kept food coming into the city, people that have looked after the creatures, everything. All the people doing the menial jobs that we never looked at, those people were applauding them or honoring them. There's a switch to the people that we are looking up to. Okay, the third week of April. Now by this time, we got the third week of April. We now have Venus retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and Jupiter retrograde along with Pluto. The third week, so this is, you can see we're coming back in and we're reflecting on our love nature, Venus. We're reflecting on Jupiter, our spirituality and how we express it. How generous are we being? How much are we letting our heart lead the way? Dropping the fear. So I think there's going to be some talk about the children, education of the children, how we can look after the children, how the children can receive, the students are going to be wanting to celebrate their graduations, the parenting of children, because some people are thinking, okay, I want to go back to work, but what do I do? My children are not at school, and how am I going to look after the children? So the children are going to come to the forefront the third week of May. We're going to try to start finding solutions for the children. We may even have communal solutions for the children. The fourth week of May. Fourth week of May, a lot of people will have shed a lot of tears, but they are getting some kind of internal spiritual clarity. If you look at the eyes are not looking outward, the eyes are looking inward, and they're contemplating. And if you look along the bottom, you'll see a bunch of third eyes all along the bottom of the card here, all third eyes. So we're going to the inner eye, we're going to the essence of our being, we're going to the wisdom self to seek the answers of what to do next. Yes, there are tears on this person's face. There's also an inner knowing, like, maybe I should have known this was coming. Maybe I should have seen it. Maybe I should have not been so distracted by so many things. And people are going to say, I want to stay more in a state of awareness. There are going to be, I feel, in some parts of the United States, or like, for example, in Russia, I get a strong feeling intuitively that Russia is going to go through a hell of a time. Very, very bad time. Not prepared at all. And secretly hiding a lot of the numbers and deaths. But I think it's going to be very tragic in Russia. So, what is the main card that would reflect the message of the retrograde movement of all these planets? Because if you look at it from a universal standpoint, we knew there would be this intensified period astrologically. Many astrologers predicted this 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And at the same time, now we have the retrograde all sitting there for us on the reflection side. So what is the message of all these planets going retrograde, where by the end of August we'll have close to 5 or 6 planets retrograde. To contemplate what really brings us joy. And there's going to be a celebration of the tiniest things in life, where before we passed them over, or we were demanding because we wanted more and more and more, and all these activities and all these opportunities, and we didn't appreciate a lot we took for granted. Now it's going to be this lady's barefoot and leaping in the air on the grass. So she's definitely, oh, Flower Fairy came down here. How sweet is that? Way you go, Fairy Queen. Come on, Fairy. Out you go, darling. Out you go. Atta girl. Little Fairy. Sweet. She found her way all the way down here. Now she's gone back to lie down. That really sweet. So that's kind of a sign of that was something beautiful, a little gift just in that moment, because she's not long for the world right now. So every little time she comes to say, hi, I love you, I was looking for you, those are little tiny gifts, but they're so huge, they're so precious. It really warmed my heart that she did that. The final thing I wanted to end up here with today, we're going to look at all the retrogrades. So we know that the retrogrades are teaching us the joy in the simple things in life. Is there anything else that you would like to end with in the cards today? People are developing a deeper, deeper, deeper sense of intuition. This person is looking out at the world, but is seeing a lot. So through the suffering, our power of sight is increased, our appreciation of the nature is increased, and we're being more discerning, wiser. Because love and wisdom are true divine traits that link hands, and one enhances the other. I would like to add that I was given a reading with my friend in New York whose husband has been battling cancer, and so she has to be very, very careful to keep him isolated and away from everybody, and the most stringent antiseptics and everything, because he was very frail and very thin and going through the throes of it. And so she said to me, I've been giving her readings for 30 years, and she said to me that I would like you to sit quietly, close your eyes, and tell me what you see on the virus. So what I saw was, by September, I saw when you got to the hospital or when you had signs of the virus, they were going to have very advanced new treatment methods for the virus. So it's going to be something that really speeds up the healing process from where we are now. Very strong. There's a doggy. Doggy scratching. A little tiny doggy making all that noise. Come here. Come here. Come and say hi. Come and say hi. Come on. And so I saw that in September. I saw in January coming up, which will be in about 8 months, I saw that there would be some kind of a antibody injection or something they could give you that would have antibodies. But then I saw the actual vaccine coming around May, June, a year from now. So I saw that we wouldn't be in such fear zones, because they would know that if we got it, that it would be able to be arrested sooner before it got to the super dangerous stage. This would be reassuring in September, because we feel that there may be a recurrence coming up a few months after that. The second thing is I feel that for the globe, as far as the economy goes, I felt a lot of people are going to sit and contemplate an entirely new type of work. I felt that the oil industry might be shifting into other realms of energy. I felt that there would be a lot of bartering. There'd be a lot of services bartered. So, for example, somebody wants a reading, and in return they would come and clean my house, or whatever. That there would be a way of, for people that don't have a lot of cash, that cash would be hard to come by. That we're going to come back from this, but I saw that because the countries are going to work together, they're going to kind of all hold each other up more than we realize. It's not sinking together. It will be lifelines tossed. Think about the boat sinking, but lifelines tossed to all the different countries and coming together and lifting each other up, helping each other. This is why it's so important right now that we are not isolationist. That's a tragic error if we stick with that direction. Okay, I'm going to end here, and if you want to get a reading, contact me at angelicmercy44@gmail.com. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of the video, and take care of yourself, look after yourself, listen to your own wisdom as to how soon you should emerge from your little sanctuary, and be wise in how you do it. But don't be fearful, because remember, microbes have been out there since the beginning of time. We cannot eradicate all the microbes, no matter what we do, no matter how many disinfectants we use. They're in there, they're in the air, they're on our shoes, they're in our creatures, they're in the food we bring home, everything. So we can cut it down and make it more antiseptic, but we can't eradicate it, and we mustn't get fearful. A certain amount, like my mom used to say, when I was out playing in the garden and kissing the dog, she said, "Oh my God," but and the doctor said, "Well, she certainly got all the antibodies through the way she lives her life as a little wild thing." And there is an element of truth in that. So we don't want to be foolhardy, but we also don't want to be neurotic. Thank you. God bless you. I love you guys so much. And please be sure to subscribe if you like it. And I look forward to talking to you very soon with some quick bids on the individual planets going retrograde. Thank you.